Hello, we
And
are live.
yes, we are live. I'm Sarah.
Wow. Okay.
This is a new one.
Hopefully, I don't know if there's anyone here, but if you're here, just let us know that you can hear us.
Yeah.
Just to start off, to the right of me, currently on my camera, Yasmin, who's one of the coaches here in Satori Prime, and myself, Andrea, also a coach here in Satori Prime. Nikki is going to join us probably in a minute or so. Hi, Roy.
Oh, hi, Roy.
She's just finishing off level 1. And as you can see, Guy and Alon are not here. They are currently down in Colombia with a lot of beautiful souls on an ayahuasca journey. We were both had the honor of going last year with them, and it's a gift for those that choose that path and choose that spiritual adventure. Obviously, it's not for everybody, and we wish everyone down there an amazing time. I apologize for my voice. I'm still getting a little sick and I sound a little creaky, but that's okay. So we are here just to kind of touch base with everybody. Oh, Karen says she can't hear us.
Oh, okay. Let's check on that. But I see Jen Marco, Roy, Corey.
Can you guys hear us?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Roy, if you ever get a chance, down in the jungle, incredible, really incredible. It's really hard to put into words what that trip was like for all of us. And I mean, for me personally, it was the first time I'd ever met with, done ayahuasca or sat with the Great Mother. It was just an incredible experience. In many ways. Good. Okay, so Luna can hear us.
Karen can hear us now. Sarah's here.
Hi, Sarah. Beautiful. Thank you for being there. Wonderful. Yeah. So as Andrea was saying, we are coaches here at Satori Prime, and have some exciting and wonderful news that we'll be opening up a second coaching session, group coaching session for the L1s, and that will be that will start running this week. So we're gonna get into all of that and give you guys the goodies on that. But oh great. Okay, so I can see people are here.
We can beautiful. We're heard. It's beautiful. So we thought that it would be good to just kind of connect with the community for those who are in level 1 or those are thinking of possibly coming into level 1. We thought it'd be good for you guys to see our faces and kind of know where we come from and a little bit of our background. And kind of, I know the plan for today was talking about forgiveness. And I think it's a beautiful kind of segue for us because both of us have gone through a beautiful journey of self-forgiveness and forgiveness and shedding and letting go of many layers and many stories that we've both had individually in our lives. And the beautiful journey that delving into this work with Satori Prime has allowed us to release. So I think it's a beautiful kind of connection for us to be able to speak of that and just our journeys along the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Miss Nikki has joined us.
Yay, Nikki's here.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Nikki. Oh,
you can't hear me.
Oh, we can hear you now.
Yeah,
we can.
Beautiful.
Yes. Oh, now we can't.
Try again.
You were there.
You were in there. We got you. You're slipping through our fingers, Nikki.
So can you still nothing?
You're here. You're good.
Okay.
Whatever you're doing.
So.
Yeah.
You're here.
Hold that pose.
So many may know Nikki. Nikki is a Satori Prime coach. She's been around the community for a long time. She was actually both of our coach going through level 2 and level 3. So it's an honor to be sitting here with the two of you and having been on this journey with you both for so long. And Nikki does not only level 2 and 3 coaching, but she also does the weekly level 1 Tuesday morning, my time, different time for others, level 1 group call. So we wanted to just kind of connect with her and she can maybe touch base for a couple minutes just on what level 1 is for her, like, and providing to the community. And as we progress into adding to the level 1 group calls for everybody, and hopefully more people choose to connect and join, and yeah.
Thanks, ladies. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Just let me know, because it's really dodgy. I did warn you that my sound does not work very happily with this particular app. Yeah, so it's great that the level 1 is now being offered on an alternative day and time every other week with you guys. That now for probably about 2.5 years. We did this program way back about 4 or 5 years ago with Guy Nalon. And so it's really close to my heart, because it was the first time that I'd, in 20 years, dived into some personal development mindset kind of work after avoiding it and dodging it for 20 years. and it was such a massive breakthrough in terms of me up to who I was and getting to know myself and getting to fall in love back with myself. So I have a very special connection with this level 1 program. Yeah, for those people out there that are considering that, they want to actually lift up the hood of the bottom of the car and have a look into what's underneath inside that mind, this is the place to start. So with the work that Guy Nalon do has moved so much from that mindset work, that foundation space, into the energy work. And having gone the whole gamut with them, without having that foundation and that understanding of myself and that acceptance and love for myself, I don't think I wouldn't have reached the level, or my energy being, my spirit being. And it does for the clients that I've taken through this program. Again, it gives you that springboard into the energy work. It allows that mind to quieten and to be.
Oh, you just cut out.
Hold on 1 second. There.
Test.
There you go.
There you are. You're back. So just don't move.
Hold the pose the whole time.
All right, I'll pose it.
There you go.
Okay. Where was I? It was.
So you were talking about how the mindset is kind of our foundation, which we both also, have come from a background of doing some personal development work, starting with mindset, which is where we all start. Mm-hmm. And then kind of using that as a springboard into energetics and sort of a deeper look at more layers and even newer perspectives beyond the mindset. Mm-hmm.
Example of yesterday, I had my nephew around, and he's going through so much crisis, and his body was, I gave him a hug because he was so in such crisis, and his body was so high, tense, that he doesn't even know how to come back into his body and actually just ground himself. He's too frightened to do that, because if he did that, he was going to burst into tears, and he doesn't show his emotions in front of anybody. So when hugging him, I could just feel that heightened sense of alertness and fear of you're not wanting to allow himself to feel. And so this program allows you to start to get to know yourself and feel safe to actually see yourself again.
She has cut out.
So. Oh, try again, Nikki. No. Oh no.
Ah! So,
yeah.
Wait, there you are. No.
Fear and resistance to get.
I think your sound has fear and resistance.
Oh dear.
It's okay. Thank you, Nikki. I think it's
go. You're good to go.
That's
You're
okay.
good. Thank you so much, though, Nikki. We love you.
Bye.
Bye. Beautiful.
I think there's something beautiful in what Nikki had just said there was about her nephew and not having that safety within.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful like journey of growing your safety within is also the connection with forgiveness. Because as we start to feel safe within, as we start moving from mindset into the energetics, we start feeling that center channel and we start feeling our safety.
Mm-hmm.
And we're able to connect into our emotions more. And when we're able to do that and feel those sensations, that's when the shedding of the stories, and that's when forgiveness can actually start, because we hold on to our stories for so long and we build and we repeat them in our mindset world. We repeat them over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And as we settle in and we start to feel, they just almost start to disappear on their own.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a power anymore. And through that, you realize that you're holding on to something that maybe wasn't even forgiveness. It was just a story that actually has no meaning anymore. And so those feelings towards somebody are gone.
Yeah, I often find that, when as you do this work, the deeper and deeper you go, I sometimes find that I can't even remember what was the original story. Where did that come from? What was even the original quote unquote trigger in this situation? I've practiced it so long. Mm-hmm. It's become so much of who I am and how I identify and just how I be in the world that I never really thought to actually question it. And I think that, when you're starting in this kind of work, going through that level 1 program allows you to start looking, to start becoming aware of what are your stories. Mm-hmm. When do these come up? Where do I see this? Where do I see the patterns in my life, in my relationships? And when you start looking at that with a little more compassion, more mm-hmm. acceptance, more love, that's when you can really start to tap into, how is this making me feel? And now can I sit with those feelings? It's like this gradual like level of moving closer and closer to you. It's actually a process of getting to know yourself, your true authentic self, mm-hmm. versus whatever you've created in your stories, in your habits, mm-hmm. About who you think you are. And that's what I have found through the work, and particularly through forgiveness, is actually getting to know who I really am beyond, the identity, right? Beyond, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, mm-hmm. I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I'm many, many, many things. And that's not really all of who I am at my core.
Exactly.
Those are the ways that we move through the world and through society and our culture. But is it really who we are at our core? It's just as souls, just as human beings. And so I have found that the work of forgiveness is this beautiful art of being able to let go. It's being able to look at something that may have happened, or something that brings up a lot of emotion for you. And it no longer seems, it's being able to let go of that negative emotion, or letting go of the charge that it has over you, that hold that it has over you.
It no longer serves, ultimately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we all know everyone has childhood traumas, and we have core wounds, and mm-hmm. those have kind of developed how we've become who we are today. Mm-hmm. And so through this work and through moving through the mindset into the energetics, we give ourselves that gift of sitting with those core wounds and being able to shed those wounds that we didn't even possibly know that we even had. Mm-hmm. There's so many stories out there about what our parents have done to us. And yes, there's a lot of things that are horrific that have occurred in this world to children. We're never going to deny that. And in the same sense, through going through these programs, the stories of how my mother treated me or how my father treated me, they've lessened. And many of them are gone because they didn't know, you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. And they didn't have that emotional connection, intelligence that we are we are all formulating now. So for them to not know, how could they have done differently? So it's a beautiful, freeing experience to be able to forgive self and other, and to be able to see parents and families and relationships and whatever it may be in a different light, where through that forgiveness and through moving through mindset into further energetics, we have that ability. It just doesn't, like Yasmin said, it just doesn't hit you in the same way. And I think a beautiful example, our dear friend and also fellow coach Alex posted yesterday in the group about her relationship with her mother. And that post was heartwarming to have been part of her journey and to see where she's come and to see that relationship with her mom. And that came from her allowing and to surrendering into her own journey of what is to arise. And what a beautiful gift that she's allowed herself. And through that, her mother has felt. And they now are like forging on this beautiful new connection and relationship. And I think it's such a beautiful, it was such a beautiful post and just a beautiful testament to what we can truly do when we allow ourselves to surrender and to just allow. And for those who are still very much in the mindset world where we all were and we all still go back to very often, I think they kind of are parallel in many ways. The surrender, the phrasing of surrender is just in allowing what is to arise, and to, if you have tears, allow them. If you have whatever emotion you may want to label it as, it gives you this allowance of being able to sit with it and to be able to be present in it. And through level 1, you get to go through forgiveness. You get to go through different processes of letting go and connection with family and going through your shoulds, which is a huge one. And
that's a big one. That's a big one for a lot of people. You know, yeah, how we show up in the world, all the shoulds. You know, I should have done it this way. I should have done it that way. I should show up this way. I should show up that way. I think it's amazing. It's really fascinating because I found through my journey, I also had, you know, very similar to Alex, as you know, just as you were talking about her, it really brought back memories of ways that I interact with my mother, and we're just very different people. And I always had this perspective of her that she is just this way. And the things that she would say or the things that she would do, well, she meant to do that. She's meaning to hurt me when she says that. How could she not? Because that's how it would come across. And after doing this work, it really gave me this like way back perspective of like, oh, wait a second. She literally believes that she is doing absolutely everything in her power from her heart. Like she truly is actually, her intention is not what I thought it was. Right. My perception of what she says and how she comes across is what's creating the story in my own mind. She's not creating that story. She's just showing up and being who she is and how she is. I'm the one who's looking at her and saying, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this to me. She's not doing anything. And I think that was like the big turning point for me in terms of actually all my relationships, where I started to look at people and say, oh, they're just showing up and being themselves. They're not actually trying to do anything to me. I'm the one who's taking this on. I'm the one creating this story. And when I create that story, I then create the relationship. So the amazing thing about that is that I actually found so much power in forgiveness. I found the power in myself to say, oh, if I change this in me, if I change how I'm looking at this, how I'm receiving the person, guess what? My whole world changes. I receive them differently. They're no longer the same, even though technically they're showing up the same, right? I got to change that. And so my experience of them gets to change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think was like so pivotal and so powerful about doing this kind of work, and particularly the forgiveness kind of work.
Absolutely.
There's so many of us that have, challenging relationships in our lives, whether it's a parent, whether it's a spouse, a partner,
Mm-hmm.
a child, anyone. I mean, our families, right? We're here to really, and I find that the greatest teachers are those people who are closest to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're highlighting our parts, and they're highlighting the things that are arising within us. And when we start to realize and to feel into the fact that we're reacting to ourselves over the person, that's when the true forgiveness starts to stem and to grow and to build roots, because we then there's that disconnection from that story. And we build these stories when, I mean, I still do it, but it's much less, right? When you read somebody's text and you're like, oh, why are they so reactive? And it's like, are they actually reactive? Or did they just quickly respond in text and you've now read into? And it's the same with our families and same with our friends. We read into something that doesn't even exist because we either feel maybe not worthy enough, or we feel insecure, or whatever are some of our core wounds and stories may be. We go into that pattern and we get reactive. And then you actually talk to the individual and they're like, oh yeah, I was
from
just
that pattern. Yeah.
I was pumping gas and I just responded to you quickly. And you're like, oh, okay. I just spent an hour spinning over what could have happened or what. And in reality, there was nothing. And so that's the beauty of us moving from mindset into the energetics, because there's less there. It may still occur, but it happens, the duration gets less and less and less. And I just wanted to say, I saw that Roy had talked about forgiveness and that he just watched one of the modules, and Stacy just signed up for MMI program. Fantastic. Love it.
Amazing. Congrats, Stacy. It's going to be an amazing ride for you. That's a fantastic
place to start. I've actually just rewatched them all, and I love to rewatch a bunch of the programs, because you can also, I still am a bit tangible, and so I like to go back and kind of like reflect on where I was and to where I am now. And it's always like, oh, like even in 6 months, the difference, or having been around this community for almost 3 years from night and day. From the original Intuitive Minds event that I attended. And Roy, level 1 definitely is the next step from MMI, as would be, if you haven't already, please join us. Intuitive Minds event. The next one is November 11th and 12th. Always a phenomenal weekend.
It's where we both started. That's where I started. I went to my first Intuitive Mind way back in 2020, one of the first ones, I believe. And I was just like, oh, what was that? Like, that weekend took me for a ride emotionally. It took me to so many deep places that I was like, I didn't know there was all this shit to uncover. Let's be real. Right. In myself.
Absolutely.
And I was like, holy cow. If that was the weekend, what's the rest of this looking like? Like, I'm in. I mean, that was just my experience, right? And I mean, and Guy and Ilana just like create this incredible container, for people to just walk in and actually just completely open and relax and allow for things to come through. I always think of emotions now as energy in motion, right? That. And the energetic part of what we're doing is just allowing energy, which is how we interpret energy as feelings and emotions, and like, oh, I'm feeling anxious. Well, really, now I'm like, well, I have some sensations in my stomach. Could be anything, right? But I label it as I'm feeling anxious, or I have butterflies, or whatever. We tend to do that, right?
Yeah, that just before the day.
We need the words to say, what exactly is it? And we need to categorize, like, okay, I'm feeling anxious right now. How am I going to deal with this? But I noticed that going through that, I went through so many different emotions, and I thought, wow, I'm actually liberating energy now, right? And part, again, kind of part of what we're talking about with forgiveness is oftentimes we get stuck. We get stuck on an emotion, or we get stuck on a thought process about something or about a situation, and it always plays out the same way. And we're like, why is this always happening like this? I hate it when it happens. Like, I just know what the next person's going to say, and I'm going to respond like this. And you can see it. You've mapped it out in your head already. And when you actually take a step back and start saying, okay, well, maybe that's a story. Maybe I'll bring some, maybe I can question it from a different perspective and not assume that this is, what it is, or assume that the other person is coming from a certain perspective. And then when you start kind of taking that step back, taking off the layers and saying, okay, what am I actually feeling in this process? Like, what is this bringing up in me? Right? What triggers is it bringing up? We like to use the word triggers. People use like triggers and trauma and all kinds of stuff, but really at the end of the day, what we're noticing is we're noticing some sort of energy that's in our body, on a really base level, and sometimes it's just stuck, right? And so when we allow ourselves to actually feel things, then that energy gets liberated. I know one of my old ways of dealing with, tough emotions or overwhelming emotions was to just like push it aside. I just like dissociate, power through, you know what? I remember a friend of mine when I was growing up used to say, "Suck it up, buttercup." A lot of women say that, "Suck it up, buttercup." And I thought it was so funny. And I thought, yeah, man, like we're going to do it this way. And then afterwards I'm like, wow, that's like, that's so hard. That's like, would I say that to a child? Why would I say that to me? Like, would you say that to a 5-year-old? It's not really nice, right? So it's kind of like allowing yourself to look at that part of you as a child again, as a little one. And like, how would you treat them? And what would you say to them? And how would you comfort them? That's what we get to do for ourselves now through this work. Yeah.
How do we want to show up for our inner child? How is ultimately is sitting in our own integrity. When we show up for our inner child in a sense of compassion and forgiveness and openness and belonging, that is where integrity sits, because we are showing up with what is happening. That does not mean that when we are angry or mad or anything that we're out of integrity. Actually showing or identifying and saying like, no, I'm feeling like really like a lot of heat inside right now, and I'm feeling the label of anger. That's being in integrity and being able to actually acknowledge it and to say it instead of pushing it away or saying, "Suck it up, buttercup, move on," which I think we all grew up with. Just no, don't cry. I remember that as a child.
Yeah.
Like, I was a very emotional child, still am. And it was always trying to get me to stop crying.
Yes.
Over releasing it. And so I've realized some of my core wounds were part of that, because I wasn't able to. It was always like, suppress it. So it's an interesting journey to allow ourselves to go on that. And sorry, I just was reading. I know I'm like trying to read the chat at the same time.
I'm noticing here, Sandra or Sally, I feel like you two are just talking right to me today. Yes, Sally.
Oh, we love you, Sally.
Yeah.
Sally is a beautiful one of our members, or our family, not members. She is, I believe, just completed level 2, and is definitely fully like delved into allowing what is to arise for her. And I think it's just beautiful. I see her posts and I just love her shares and how much they resonate when she has shares, as when anyone in the community shares. Absolutely. There's always resonation. So if there's ever something that you are feeling, and I don't know about you guys, sometimes I just spew stuff onto paper and then I like put it aside, but there's always some tidbit, tangent, something in there that resonates for somebody else. And that's the beauty in sharing within community, whether it's a poem you've written, whether it's
an experience, something that's happened. Yep.
it allows people to feel that for themselves. It allows people to feel that part within, being like, oh, I have that too, in my own way. But it allows people to be able to identify some parts that they may not have actually known existed. Yeah. So never feel that you can't share in the large group. Please always share. And I think we all enjoy reading them. We all enjoy seeing everybody's journey. And everyone,
and you don't feel alone. Like because we aren't. I mean, this is a human experience. We've all experienced the whole gamut.
Yeah.
So there's always things that people can certainly identify with in those posts. I find them really helpful.
Absolutely.
Even just knowing that, oh yeah, other people deal with this too. It's not just me.
Oh, I'm not isolated and alone. This is a universal feeling. And I think we've recently, like, the collective is changing, and it is rather strong. And there is a lot happening in the world right now. And we're all feeling it in our own ways. And to be able to embrace that and to share that is helping connect the collective together, and is helping to connect like beauty within the world. And so I just lost my train of thought there, but
yeah. That's okay. You know what? And you're right. Like, I think of it as your work as an individual. You do your work, and your work is the work of the collective. Because as more people do that work, that inner work, it collectively is felt, and it actually shows in your life, which then spreads to others around you, right? When you show up differently, you affect every single person in your life that you come across.
Absolutely.
That's it. Hands down. Because you're the one showing up differently. It's like everything else that you do is different. It's experienced differently by you. Other people see you differently. They experience you differently, and it hits their system. So your healing work is incredible for other people as well, even if they're not doing the work. And I can attest to this, because I've told you guys, my groups, my husband doesn't do this work at all. He's never done personal development work. And I started on this journey in, before 2020, like on my own, but with Guy Nilan in 2020. And he used to be like, what are you doing in your closet? I mean, that's my office.
Your office.
What are you doing in your closet in these groups for so long? Are you really meditating that long? Like, what is this all about? And he used to kind of be like, this is really, are you going to change on me? Like, what's going on? But I noticed the more I did my own work, the better our relationship got. And it had nothing to do with me telling him that he needed to change or that he needed to show up differently. I just started showing up differently. Right. And that to me was mind blowing. Like, that was like, right there, oh my gosh, I can change everything around me. Absolutely. I can change that relationship. He doesn't have to buy into this. He doesn't have to even speak this language that we speak in this community to feel the effects of that. So I thought that in my own life was incredibly, incredibly powerful.
And to see where he is now, he is very, very open to it now. And that wasn't anything that you put on him. He's now like, ooh,
yeah,
what's happening now? And it's beautiful to just be witness to that. And I think the good reminder is our journeys are all in our own timing. And just because one person may be here does not mean you need to be there. And we as humans, our human selves and our mindset, we always want to compare and be like, why do they have this breakthrough? Why did they heal that relationship with their mother or their husband or whoever it may be? Why am I not there yet? And we all get stuck. We can all get stuck in that story. And it's a beautiful reminder to regularly share with yourself of one, have self-compassion for self, because through self-compassion, that is where we truly begin to heal, because we start to love ourselves further. And through that, we then can see that our journey is our own special journey, our own special gift to ourselves. And it doesn't need to look like anyone else's. It is exactly what's meant to be when it's supposed to happen. And another beautiful reminder is there is nothing selfish about taking time for yourself. There's nothing selfish about wanting to explore finding yourself. And that list of things that we all have that run through our head, or we like to tick off on a piece of paper, the list is not going anywhere. We're going to have the to-do list for life. So what if we put at the top of the list self? Because the rest of that flows when we can put self first, and we're more present for family, we're more present at work, we're more present for everybody when we selfishly choose us. And take that time every day or every second day to take pause. And some days that very much could look like a 5-minute deep breath session. It could look like going in nature for half an hour. Whatever it may be, it's taking that moment to delve into self and to connect. And as we do that further, that's when our relationships also start changing, because our relationship has changed with self and that connection to soul and inner child and self-compassion.
That's beautiful. I want to go back into the chat and just see. I see Kelly Kelly, you have a question here. Could you explain level 1, level 2, and level 3? Okay. Yeah. You want to start? You want me to start?
Go on.
Level 1 and 3. Well, okay. So we mentioned that the Intuitive Mind event is the weekend event. So that's the 2-day event. It's a great place to kind of get a taste of things. Level 1 is I would say is the building the foundation for this work. So it's reviewing for some people who've done some mindset work, or introducing a level of personal development at the mind, and starting to sort of touch in on energetics and spirituality. But really what you're looking at is some specific things like forgiveness, like taking responsibility in your life, like looking at your stories. So I would say that level 1 is a really great place to start, where you can get tangible, specific things to look at and work on, right? And it's like 6 weeks. You can go through the modules at your own pace, and then you can show up to the group sessions to actually talk about some of those things that you're finding through the course. Yeah. Would you say that's sort of it in a nutshell?
I would say that's it in a nutshell. And in Guy and Elon recently, I guess several months ago now, did re-record L1. And I think it was such a beautiful thing that they re-recorded it, because when they originally did it, they were also in a different space.
They were.
So now they are coming in from a very beautiful, they weren't beautiful before, but a very different energetics. So they re-recorded them. And so it's a beautiful, to rewatch those for myself now. And I'm like, I love witnessing those. There are the weekly sessions, but also at the end of your 6 weeks, if you're still called to come to those sessions, those weekly sessions, or also soon to be bi-weekly sessions, you're still welcome. Yeah. The community doesn't close for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So once you've gone through level 1, that program, you can come to the group coaching sessions as long as you want.
Yep.
Right. And so that's that program. So I would say it's a little more concrete. You get some specific things to look at that are personal, like in personal development. And then you can share in the group. When you move into level 2 is a 3-month program, and they run a bi-weekly group, and then bi-weekly one-on-one coaches work with you. So you get assigned to a one-on-one coach for that 3-month program. And so you sort of, how we usually do it is like 1 week you'll be with the group, and then the other week you'll be working with your one-on-one coach. So it's a little more intimate. You get, Guy and Elon running that program. So plus one of us. So I would say that's sort of like your next level of working on mindset as well as energetics. And we start to delve more on the energetics in that program. So learning how to be with self and how to really identify the sensations that you're feeling, learning how to ground, learning all sorts of different practices that are deeper than the mindset work.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be your level 2. Level 3 is the program that you would move into, and you would continue doing your biweekly group programs, as well as continuing on with a one-on-one coach. And that runs for the remainder of the year. So it's a 9-month program after your initial 3. That one gets pretty wild in a really, really good way, because you really start to learn about energetics and spirituality and expand on everything in the fundamentals. But now you're doing it in a group of people that are all working at sort of an expanded level, I would say,
Yes.
of consciousness. And you're really looking at self to other,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is where you're really looking at some deep work. You're getting to work again in an intimate group. And some of the things that come through are just incredible. I mean, some of the emergent spaces that we sit in, just some of the experiences that people have through that program, would be really amazing to bring some L3s on just to talk about even the difference between their experience from L1 to L2 to L3.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, like, it was huge. It was huge for me to go and go through a whole year of working with Guy Nilan, having a one-on-one coach, leaps and bounds for me in that year in terms of my self-development, my ability to communicate with other people, my ability to have compassion towards so many things in my life, not just people, but situations. Can I really be with anything that comes through? I can confidently say that I can be with a lot of things now that I could not have imagined I'd ever be with.
Absolutely.
A few years ago. Just no way. There's just no way. And for me to cultivate, for you and me to be able to cultivate the level of safety that you feel in your system, it's like nothing. It's like nothing else in the world for me to be able to walk into a situation and be totally grounded. And there could be chaos. There could be people shouting at you, all kinds of shit coming your way. And you're just like, I'm here. Like,
good.
It's not that I don't feel anything. I feel it all. But I no longer have to get thrown by my emotions, by other people, by, taken for a ride, essentially.
Exactly.
I can withstand and kind of walk through, like, with an alignment that I don't think I've ever felt in my life.
And I think what comes along with that is part of our safety is within, but it's also the safety that we've cultivated with other. So when I walk into a situation, I'm like calm, I'm grounded, I can make it through. It's good. And yes, you're right. Like I'll still feel what's happening. And after, I can also allow myself to go into those feelings and process through what occurred. And I have this beautiful community of family that I can phone, I can connect with, I can Zoom with, whichever it may be, and just say, I just need to sit with this. I just need to release this, to allow this through. And that isn't something that I've always had. Typically when you sit with, say, for example, or your teenage friends growing up, people want to solve it, or they want to complain about the other person and make you right. And it isn't about being right or wrong. It's about being able to say, this is what I have happening for me right now. And I just want to sit in it, whether it's pretty, ugly, curled in a ball, whatever it may be. This Satori Prime cultivated that for me and cultivated these relationships that are life altering, that many have traveled all over the place, all over the world to spend time with each other because we have that calling. It's a soul calling to spend time together. And people don't always in my real life don't really understand it. Sometimes they're like, you're going to go see somebody that you did like a year program on Zoom with. I'm like, yes, I am.
Yes, I am actually.
Yeah. And it's because of those connections that we've cultivated. And it's such a beautiful realization, like mentally as well as physically, that at any time I can reach out to multiple different people and be supported. And also be supported when I am ecstatic over something. And it isn't just about, it's about the wins too. It's about all of it. Like there is no, how you show up in this community is exactly how you're meant to show up. And does that trigger or changing the wording to highlight things within you, and you may be reactive to something that somebody's saying, of course. And what a beautiful gift that's being highlighted for you to be able to then sit with, or even journal it out, or reach out to somebody and say, hey, like, I just need to spew this out, to just kind of, because some people still love just like the verbal aspect of it, and to release it that way. And that's beautiful to be able to just release it that way. And if I was to say anything for anybody, even at the beginning of this work, as you're just coming into like level 1 or intuitive minds or whichever it may be, once you've released something, whether it's verbally or you can feel the lessening of the story, settle into your body and just kind of see if you can feel like that little bit less tension in your shoulders or in your neck or whatever it may be. Because as we release these stories and as we have continued and further forgiveness, there is those shifts within. And you don't hold, like my shoulders are always like here from work. And so I've noticed personally that when they're up there, I'm like, okay, what's happening for you? Like, let's connect with self or connect with other or connect with group to be able to allow what's meant to show up so that it can be seen and heard. And that's the beauty, is instead of shutting it out or saying, suck it up, buttercup, it gets to be seen and heard, and that cultivates safety.
What I love, I think I remember somewhere at the beginning of the program when we were talking about, core wounds and things that we want to be able to release, internally. I always loved this idea that, when you heal something on a deep level, energetically, spiritually, emotionally, the beautiful thing is that thing no longer triggers you. Like I can honestly attest to the fact that there are things, back to, the story with my mother, there are things that used to really trigger me. They would really affect me, and they would be small things that she would maybe say offhand, but I'd be like, oh, holding on for days afterwards. I'm like, how did she say that? And, I know that she meant whatever. And now she could literally say the same things, and I actually don't feel it. Like, it's literally gone.
It's like, wait for it. Nope, not there.
Right? It's like it's so amazing when you actually do the healing work. You notice that part truly is healed. That part is no longer there. It's not something that you have to motor through anymore. It's not something that you hold on to. When it's gone, it's gone. And that's like magic for me. Like, I was like, that is not possible. I remember Elon mentioned it once, and he was like, when that trigger's gone, it's going to be gone. It's just not going to bother you anymore. And I'm like, of course it's going to bother you. It's been bothering me since I was 8. Are you kidding me? No, it really was gone. Like, and I tested it out one day. I spend time. You want to see how spiritual you are? Spend some time with your family. Go on a trip with your extended family or your parents or whoever it is that brings things out in you. And let's see how calm you can stay. And let's see, right? It brings up so much in you, so much to look at. They're all your mirrors.
Absolutely.
But it's really true. When I was able to forgive and let go of some of this, and the emotions that were attached to the stories, to the thing, to the responses. Holy cow. Like the freedom in that is incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really beautiful. I want to be able to circle back to our L1 program and just let people know what's coming up. So for the L1 program, Nikki does a weekly drop-in, right? Weekly group session on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, so 1 p.m. Eastern. And I can't go through all the others.
I know, whatever that is, UK and Aussie time. It's later in the day for UK. We're going to be starting a session for the L1s so that it offers people an alternative day, an alternative time. And so we're going to be running it on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, right? Yeah. And it'll be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I know a lot of people work, and so we thought it would be it would be great if we could offer something that's not during the day, that people can still attend live, right? So yeah, Nikki is amazing, Jeanette.
Nikki is amazing.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She was my original coach as well. So beautiful. Yeah, so we're going to be running. The two of us will be hosting that group session on Thursdays, starting this week,
October 26th.
Yep, October 26th. And it will be running every other week, so on a bi-weekly basis. So 1 week on, 1 week off. So at least you guys have another option.
Martina, it's 5 p.m. Pacific time, starting October 26th. And Roy, I believe there are recordings, but maybe Sarah, I know she's in the chat here, might be able to answer that. I'm pretty sure there might be recordings for the L1s. I know they are recorded when I've shown up on the L1, so I'm going to say yes, but again, will the link be emailed? There was an L1 group link sent out, and we can definitely ask for another one to be sent out, but if not, message me directly and I can get you the link, because I know where that email is. And and nice to see you here, Martina. I remember you at I think it was our last Intuitive Minds events, and you were so inspiring. And I love that you've become part of this community. Curious how you can join level 1 is, I'm guessing, what you're asking, Martina. You can message me directly and I can connect you with Tobias, Sarah, or Corey. They definitely are the connection to get signed up for that level 1. Or you can message them yourselves directly. You probably have seen them. They do a Wednesday live here in the group, and they're all over the Souls and Seekers Facebook group. So connect with them, or if you need so, I can absolutely send you the links directly. And this has been a lot of fun.
This has been awesome. Yeah, so Sarah just put in the chat for all of you guys, Thursdays, 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST.
Way to go, Roy.
Yay, Roy. Got my call booked. Awesome. I love it. Yeah, so Tuesdays, and so every Tuesday and every other Thursday.
Yes.
And
we'll see, like, maybe, who knows, one day it could be every Thursday, but right now we feel like it's best to start with every second Thursday and just kind of see how it goes. And the sessions with Nikki are always beautiful on Tuesdays. I still love to show up at them when I'm available, because there's always like a little tidbit or a beautiful reminder, even when we've gone through this. And like Yasmin, I've started this in November of 2020 at my first Intuitive Minds. And there's always another, or just like a new connection that you're like, oh, okay. So
it's always good reminders, for sure. Because thanks, Martina.
Thank you.
Yay. I mean,
they are pretty amazing, those boys. It's true.
They're okay. They're okay.
They're just okay.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, it's a gift, and we're like, thank you for having us here. We don't typically, Yasmin and I don't typically do live, so this was actually quite fun, I have to say.
This was a good opportunity for us to kind of pop ourselves in the group, because we've both been around for a while.
Yes.
We often do a lot of background stuff, because we do the one-on-one coaching, and kind of we're quite involved with the coaches group and our own groups. So this has been amazing. I love that we were able to connect with all of the new souls and the new people in the group. So welcome. And we really hope to see you on those Thursday night calls. Bring your questions, bring yourself, however you show up. I love that we can just kind of show up however we are, and always be accepted and loved and supported.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. That's awesome.
All right. A last quick reminder. Again, the Intuitive Minds event is coming up November 11th and 12th. So if you're on the fence about possibly coming to L1, Intuitive Minds is an amazing 2-day session with a larger group. And
dip your toe in and just see what it's like, see how it feels.
And it's phenomenal. I think it's my 15th time. I just keep coming back because there's always something. There's always some beauty in them, and it's a blessing. And the day I chose, or you chose, to become a part of this community was a day that we both chose, like our soul and our own coming back to self. And
and how beautiful that we found our soul tribe along the way as well.
Exactly.
It's pretty remarkable.
It's pretty remarkable what can change in just a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's the Intuitive Minds, and half price right now.
Yeah. So great opportunity, guys. We hope to see you there.
And for those who are in L1, hopefully we'll see you on Thursday. Obviously, we know that time isn't great for people in the UK. But if you happen to be up in the middle of the night, come join us.
Yep.
Why not? So we thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it. Again, it's an honor to be part of this community. And yes, it's online. And
awesome. Thank you, guys. This has been gorgeous. I love it.
I love it too.
All right.
Thank you, Yasmin, for being here.
See you, my friend, my soul sister.
See you soon.
All right.
And thank you, Sarah, for being in the background, making sure everything's rolling along. We really appreciate it. And Nikki for attempting to be here, but Wi-Fi.
Darn Wi-Fi.
Darn Wi-Fi.
All good. All right, guys.
Thank you all.
Take care.
Bye.